Hi, I'm Robbie Lawler.
What's up, fight family? This is your favorite MMA coach, Thiago Alves, the Pitbull.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Pedro Moyes.
This is Mike Brown.
Guys, I'm Alexis Davis. And welcome.
And welcome.
And welcome.
And welcome.
And this is We Want Picks.
And you're watching We Want Picks.
To We Want Picks.
We Want Picks.
To We Want Picks.
To We Want Picks. Hi, everybody from American Top Picks.
My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. This episode is brought to you by BETU Play to Earn, the world's first sports and esports betting game. Check it out now at betuearn.com. That's bet, the letter U, earn.com. And we are here pre-fight. We're here before UFC Vegas 47, Hermansson versus Strickland. I'm going to break down this entire card. We will go fight by fight. I will give you my pick, but more importantly, you guys in the live chat will give me your pick. And then I will take your pick and we will build a full card parlay together. All 13 fights. We will take every single pick that you guys, the consensus in the live chat, we will build a full card parlay. I'll throw $10 on it. And if it hits, you get the money. Members of this channel get the money. So make sure you're a member, and to become a member, you click the join button under this video in YouTube. Let's go ahead and turn on all the things so that we're good to go. How is everybody doing? You guys excited for this card? I'm definitely, it's a sleeper card, right? I think there's some exciting fights on here. I don't necessarily think it's like the card of the century, but I do think there's some unknown guys on this card that are really going to come out bang. Don't necessarily have the name recognition, but should be a lot of fun. So how you guys doing? I see a bunch of you in the live chat already, so we'll jump right in 1 minute. I'm just getting situated here, but make sure you join and become a member, because one of these days this parlay is going to hit and it's going to pay out. The last two were like $1,700. Thanks for the follow, Hermansson. The last two were like $1,700, $1,800. If we grab some underdogs, because those are pretty heavy favorite cards, but if we grab some underdogs, well, then all of a sudden one of these payouts is going to be looking like $14,000. I experimented with a few, as I always do every week, just to see what the payout would be. And they're getting up there. So let's jump in. We'll break down fights. We'll talk about picks. You guys will give me your picks. I'm just making sure we're all set up, which we are. So let's get going. How you doing, Joe, Nick, Zach? And the very first fight of the evening is an interesting one. Some of you guys were pretty split on this pick. But right out of the gate, we have UFC debut of Dennis Bonnar. I kept saying Badner, and people got all pissed off. Bonnar. He's fighting Malcolm Gordon. Malcolm Gordon's 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off a win over the other Figueiredo, not the good Figueiredo, the other Figueiredo. And he's 13-5 overall. He's fighting Dennis Badner, 16-3 overall, 5-0 in his last 5, and he is riding a 10-fight win streak. Malcolm Gordon is a BJJ black belt. He's got solid technical striking. His chin is definitely suspect. He's got a really high striking guard, so he keeps his hands up and he likes to come forward. But ultimately, people can get past that guard and take him down. He doesn't mind, though, because he wants to be on the ground. He doesn't necessarily have the full-blown wrestling to get it there. He's only got 18% takedown accuracy, but he does want to be on the ground, and he does want to be mixing it up down there because he has that jiu-jitsu black belt, and his chin is anything but solid enough to be slugging out with people. Dennis Badner is wild. He comes forward, just wings wild punches from all angles, and then he drops down, grabs the legs, picks you up, slams you. A lot of people have him pegged as a striker. He's not a striker. He's a grappler, more of a wrestler, really. He picks you up, runs you across the cage, and slams you down. Old school Matt Hughes style in some of those fights. On the ground, he's got solid pressure. He's pretty busy, but his jiu-jitsu is very the ones and twos of jiu-jitsu. He's working position to position. He's working in arm chokes, arm bars, things like that. He's not throwing up anything crazy, and if he's on his back, he's definitely not nearly as skilled as a Malcolm Gordon. Dennis Badner is my pick, but we're worried about your pick. I like Bonnar to win. I think he comes in. His big, wild, heavy winging punches will be a problem for the chin of Malcolm Gordon. And then I think Badner can get to the legs, get the takedowns, and beat up from there. Gordon's a black belt, but, you know, he's off of his back. He's not really throwing up anything that's going to be super dangerous. I don't see a sweep either against somebody like Badner with a solid base like that. So Dennis Bandar is my pick. Let's see what your pick is so we can go ahead and kick off our full card parlay. Okay, it looks like we have Sean V, Bandar. Okay. Better get some Gordon in tournaments. Yeah, so you're talking about DraftKings. Right now we're building a full card parlay, but certainly Gordon, there's a couple underdogs on this card that might be able to make something happen. Gordon's one of them. He's lower on the list, in my opinion. I think this is much more straightforward, but you know, he is a veteran. He does have solid jiu-jitsu. So far, Bandar, Gordon probably has the worst chin. His chin's not great. Could be a grappling match. I could see a decision. That is possible if Malcolm Gordon, like, you know, it's funny because people with these chins know that their chins are not, you know, they don't walk around thinking like, oh, I'm going to come in there and I could take a punch. They know what they have. They know what they are. Prochnial, yeah, he's got a rough chin. Bandar. Okay, so it looks like it's all Bandar. So let's go ahead. Let's switch. I'm going to build the full card parlay on my bookie. So let's go in here. Bandar, minus 300 favorite. Guys, not a great look already for our parlay. Minus 300 favorite, kicking off the parlay. Yeah. Sorry, I just want to see. Well, just $10 is going to be what I'm going to put. Right now, 10 to win $3.33. But obviously, once we get up to 13 fights, that'll look like a much different number. Catch up on some chat. Even when Gordon wins, he's getting hurt and dropped. It's a good bet. Minus 400. Or are you talking about something else that I missed in the live chat? Did Jacob have a lock of the week? He sure did. Who the hell was it? Oh, it's Sexy Mexi is his lock of the week. Until he found out that when Sexy Mexi beat Rowe, he did the Raptor, and now he's all pissed off. So let's move on to the next fight. Oh, here's the stats. My bad, guys. Here's the stats on Badner versus Gordon. The problem is Badner's making his UFC debut, so no stats on his side. But Gordon has an even striking differential, so one strike gives one to gets one. His striking defense is just okay. His takedown average is actually solid, but that's his only path to victory in any of these fights. And he's only 18% takedown accuracy, which means he's constantly diving at legs, constantly hold people against the cage and trying to drag them down. The second fight of the night, this one will be an interesting one. Very curious what you guys think. You guys were split in the comments of the YouTube videos. So we have Jason Witt fighting Philip Rowe. Jason Witt is 19-7 overall. He's 2-3 in his last 5, but he is coming off a nice win over Brian Barberena. Philip Rowe is 8-3 overall. Jason Witt, as we all know, is a wrestler. He's a grinding wrestler. He's only looking for takedowns and submissions. He has no intention of engaging in any sort of kickboxing match, which is totally fine because his chin is bad. His chin is scary. It's nerve-wracking. If you're on the Witt side, you will be watching 15 minutes of fight, and you will be biting your nails the whole time just praying to God he doesn't get hit. Because he, like Malcolm Gordon, does have a pretty rough chin. But his wrestling is very, very good. He has 6 takedown average per 15 minutes. When he gets on top, he's really busy, pounds away, and he's got solid pressure. Josh Locks has become a member. Welcome, Josh, and let's hope that this pays out so you can cash in and get your piece of the pie. Anybody else looking to become a member, there's a join button under this video. We're building the full card parlay, and hopefully it pays out because you guys get the money. I don't. So Jason Witt, solid wrestler, averaging 6 takedowns per 15 minutes of fighting. Once he gets on top, he pounds away. He's not really hunting for submissions, but if they're there, if he's beating on you on top and then you roll to your belly, he will look for a rear naked choke, try to sneak something in. But if you're on the Witt side, you're hoping for him to get takedowns and pound away on top. Philip Rowe is huge for the division. Not necessarily thick, but he's got a 5-inch height advantage over Jason Witt and 10-inch reach advantage. And he's one of the very few fighters that actually uses his reach pretty well to keep people at the end of his punches. He's a pretty high volume striker. He does a great job of using that range. His ground game is very good. He's pretty good off the back. He's pretty good at working in, you know, it's not like he's submitting the whole world, but he can tie you up if you're on top and get you worried about what's going on. But he doesn't really have any wrestling to use as defense or offense if he was ever going to do that. Rowe's a solid favorite here, but what's interesting is these lines that you're looking are old. They have moved. Jason Witt was a plus 120 underdog. He is now on some books a odds-on favorite to win this fight. So the money moved towards Jason Witt. Philip Rowe, listen, he's the better striker. Jason Witt has a very suspect chin, but Philip Rowe has no takedown defense, and I don't think he's going to be able to submit Jason Witt. So Jason Witt is my pick to get past the reach, get to the legs, get some takedowns, and make something happen. Probably a decision, but I see Jason Witt winning. I have a moneyline bet on Jason Witt to win. What do you guys think? I imagine this is going to be an annoying one where you guys are split and then I have to make a decision. Okay. We've got a Rowe right out of the gate. And who's my buddy in the chat that always keeps score for me? Silly Philly. That's 2 Rows. Josh, thanks again for the membership. Going on 5 months. Rowe has 15 minutes to find that chin. So is that another Rowe? So we're 3 on Rowe, 1 on Witt. No clue. Witt. We're all tied up with Witt. Was it just me or did Witt look bad at weigh-ins? Witt did not look great at weigh-ins, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. Joe Todoro renewed his membership. Welcome, Joey. You're fantastic. Always have been. Joe, as usual, can you do the DraftKings ownership numbers and put them in our Discord so people can see those? And anybody who wants to see that or anything else, the Discord, the link is in the description. If you could do that for me, Joe, I would very much appreciate it. And thanks for renewing your membership. Juan Eshveri, thanks for subscribing. So far, Witt and Rowe are tied with your picks. And then we have Rowe to put it over the end. Witt slows down. He'll take the first round, but that chin will get caught. So I guess that's a Rowe pick. I don't know if I counted you already. Rowe. It looks like everybody's going Rowe. All right. Thank you, Joey. Give me Rowe. I like DT dancing. Yeah, thanks, Josh. You know, it's funny. So those are the alerts. We have different alerts for if somebody super chats money, donates money, buys stuff, whatever. Brendan, we're building the parlay right now. This is only the second fight. The first fight, Bonnar started off the parlay. So we're getting there. Rowe is going to be added to the parlay. But just to get back to what the hell I was saying. So Josh, I had an idea. I told Jacob, we have a green screen. And I was like, Jacob, you should go in front of the green screen and do all sorts of stupid shit. Like throw money, like all sorts of stupid crap. And we will turn those into our alerts. And all of a sudden, Jacob gets shy and doesn't want to do it. So, Philip Rowe is your pick. Here's the stats. We will add it to the parlay in 1 second. Obviously, giant height difference. Giant reach difference. 10 inches in reach is a lot. Granted, it's 5 on each side. So, it's not, you know, if I'm standing here, I don't have 10 like this. It's 5 on each side. But still, that's a solid reach advantage. I said he's a high-volume striker, and you can see that here, 497, but he does get hit quite a bit. But for the most part, his chin's okay. Here's the takedown. Here's the stat that matters the most to me. Over 6 takedowns per 15 minutes. And I'm saying per 15 minutes because that's how they calculate it. So if he gets 2 takedowns in 5 minutes, this stat will be 5 times 3. Or sorry, 2 times 3. So the stat will be 6 takedowns per 15. So anyway, he's averaging more than 6 takedowns per 15 minutes of fighting and almost half takedown accuracy, which at that volume is solid. So let's go ahead and add Philip Rowe. I disagree with the pick. But let's go ahead and add Philip Rowe to our parlay. Minus 140 on this book. So now that has brought, let's fix this. $10 to win 12. We're finally in plus money 2 favorites gets us plus money 10 to win 12. Obviously, once this works this way up, Braden, I'm with you, but everybody else said Rowe. And now here's another Witt. I'm not keeping track of the score, but I'm pretty sure everybody said Witt. Maybe this is one that we come back to when we're done, since you guys seem split. You guys do seem split. I love when everybody argues. That's what the Discord is for as well. So, all right, we're 2 fights into our full card parlay. We can certainly, I'll earmark this. We can come back to it and see what happens. Because switching from Rowe to Witt could also add quite a bit of money. X sweet spot is Witt. Did I get the count wrong? Hey, Dean, just go, if you're watching on YouTube, just click on our description and all our links are in there. Discord's free. We don't charge for anything. Nothing is hidden behind a paywall. The only thing that that membership really gets you is to qualify for, you get the crown, all that stuff. It supports us tremendously, so I don't want to downplay it. And you qualify for our giveaways, but we don't charge people for the Discord or anything like that. Okay, let's move on. There's another one where people are split. We've got Danilo Marquez. He's fighting Jailton Almeida. Danilo Marquez is 11-3 overall. He's 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that come from forward loss, I guess. He was dominating his fight against Kennedy and Chukwu and then got a little too comfortable striking and was put out. Jailton Almeida is 14-2 overall, 5-0 in his last 5, riding a 9-fight stoppage win streak. And Danilo Marquez is a solid grappler. He's got a lot of takedowns, plenty of control. He does have technical boxing, but there's not much power in his boxing. And as we've seen, his chin can get touched and cause him some trouble. If you saw that in Chukwu fight, he literally was dominating. I mean, he was backpacking Chukwu. He was controlling that fight. That was his fight. And then later in the 3rd round, just got way too comfortable striking and bang, got caught. And then that was the end of it. Jailton Almeida, he's a great prospect. The UFC definitely loves him. The UFC set this up for Jailton Almeida to win. They said, let's give you a grappler that we think you can out-grapple. Let's give you a guy that we know if you touch his chin, you could probably make something happen. That's exactly what this fight is. He considers himself, if you watch interviews, Jailton Almeida considers himself a striker. But if you watch any of his tape, it's very clear he's not a striker. Josh Locks with the donation. My man, Pots and Pans. Thank you very much. Sheba Dog shouting good luck in the megaphone. Thank you very much. We appreciate the donation. And that $10 will go to the bet, Josh. And hopefully you earn it back in spades when this full card parlay hits. Thank you very much again. So Jailton Almeida, fantastic prospect. I just mentioned he considers himself a striker. You watch his interviews, he thinks he's a striker. If you watch his tape, it's very clear that he's a grappler. And he's a good grappler. And that's his path to victory. He comes in hot. He relentlessly works for takedowns. Relentlessly is looking for takedowns. And then when he gets on top or when he gets a takedown, he's constantly looking for a submission. And I mentioned this before. He is submission over position. So instead of working his way from guard to side control to mount, if you squirm, he will try to snatch something up. He's always looking to snatch something up. And the problem with that is, even though he's winning almost all of these fights, Mbaye renewed the membership. Thank you very much, Mbaye. Thank you for becoming a member. It is incredibly helpful, and hopefully you get yourself a payday here as well. The issue with Jailton Almeida is, as he's chasing some of these submissions, he puts himself into harm's way. And even though, if you look, he's on 9-fight stoppage streak, but in some of those fights, he's been in some pretty rough positions because he chased something, ended up on his back, started getting hit, and he was definitely the better fighter in all of those fights. Danilo Marquez, I'm not saying he's the better fighter, but he's a very accomplished grappler in his own right. Jacob rattled off some ridiculous statistic, like Danilo Marquez had some insane amount of kickboxing matches. So Danilo Marquez, I think, is a very live underdog. I do have Jailton Almeida winning this fight. I think Danilo Marquez is a very live underdog. And betting-wise, let's put our full card parlay aside. Betting-wise, Danilo Marquez, you can triple your money. It's possible that he catches Jonathan Almeida, or possible that he just fights a very controlled, safe fight. And as Jonathan Almeida is taking risks, as he's getting excited for his official UFC debut, D. Rich becoming a member. Thank you very much, D. Rich. Welcome to the membership. And hopefully this pays out. I'm feeling good about it. Only 13 fights, so we could probably make something happen. And Brendan Fraser, that's exactly, I keep saying Brendan Fraser like the actor. Braden Fraser. I agree. There's no way I can, listen, we're doing a full card parlay, so throwing Jonathan Almeida in that, totally fine if that's what you guys think. If I'm just doing a single bet by itself, those odds are nuts, and it's hard to pass up Danilo Marquez. So Jonathan Almeida is my pick. Let's see what your pick is so we can build out that full card parlay. You guys are very active in this chat. Thank you very much. KMC has become a member. You guys, today's a great day. Thank you very much for the support. Welcome to the membership. Enjoy the crown. Enjoy the emojis. And let's hopefully get this payout. Keep in mind, I'm talking about the full card parlay right now. Membership also gets you our DraftKings payout if you win our free DraftKings league. All the links for that in the description. So let's see what we got here. We have an Almeida, a Marquez 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, 4-2. Braden calling it a trap. I agree. It's not as enough of a trap for me. Yeah, maybe come fight time. Honestly, I'd probably live bet. He's coming in. Danilo Marquez is coming in at such a heavy underdog spot. Within the first few minutes, you should get a solid feel for what's going on, how it's going, and you could still throw some money on him if he starts to take over and still get him as an underdog. Meaning, he's going to start the fight at plus 300. All of a sudden, he gets a takedown, defends a few, makes something happen. You could probably still get him at plus 200. Right? And you got to see some of the fight. Peter Jones became a member. Thank you, Peter. Welcome, Peter. And hopefully this pays out. And I'm excited to split the payout with all of the members of the channel. So we've got, I forget what the count was, but it's heavy Almeida right now. Almeida makes mistakes. I 100% agree with you. Gordon and Witt got KO'd by wind. Let's see. What you're saying, fights are off. What does that mean? What do you mean fights are off? Like, was a fight canceled, or you mean off like not correct? Almeida. Always fade contender series. So that's a Danilo pick. Another Danilo pick. I bet this, Josh Paletta. I already bet this. Over 1.5. I completely agree. You got Marquez. It's still Almeida, but Marquez isn't far behind. You want to watch it back with Danilo. He will sub you. Got Danilo and a couple low risk. Those aren't picks, though. We got a Marquez. We got an Almeida. Marquez. Almeida. So we're still on Almeida. Getting all the ownership together now if you haven't joined the Discord. Thank you, Joe. So anybody hopping in, Joe is putting DraftKings ownership numbers in our Discord. The link is in our description. All right, Almeida. Okay. Looks like it's Almeida. Angelo's such a dad. What's this about? Well, yes, I am. I've got 2 daughters. But what was dad? What'd I do that was dad-like? Let's see. Okay. 10-5. There we are. X sweet spot. Thank you very much. I cannot keep up. 10-5 Almeida. What was a joke? That I'm a dad? What am I missing here? What am I missing? Oh, the hat. Oh, it's a dad hat. Okay. Y'all gonna lose money on Almeida. Well, it's your money. Well, it's technically my money, but you guys get the winnings. Okay. let's hop over. We are adding Almeida. This will be the third fight in our full card parlay. Minus 420. It moved even more. We're up to plus 182 though. So $10. Channel spoke. Thank you for the subscription. $10 wins us $18.30. We're getting there. We have 3 fights in what will be a 13 fight parlay. All good, man. Thank you very much for the contributions. Okay. I am old. Okay. Anyway. We've got Jalton Almeida at minus 420, Philip Rowe at minus 140, and Dennis Bonnar at minus 300. So 3 up, 3 favorites, 3 in, $10 to win 18. That doesn't sound like a lot, and it's not, but this will work its way up. Even if we pick every single favorite on this card, the payout's over $1,300, I think. I did it before. 1,500 maybe. But once you sneak in 1 or 2 underdogs, all of a sudden the payouts jump. So let's take a look. My wife is texting me nonsense. What is this crap? I can't see what that is. Okay. Let's move over. Okay. Negative Nance, Braden. Negative Nance. Let's bring up some positivity, bruh. All right. Moving back to the fights. I am sure you guys are going to go heavy favorite here as well. It's not going to help the parlay. It'll help it hit. It's not going to help the payout. We've got the veteran Alexis Davis taking on Julia Stoliarenko. Alexis Davis 20-11 overall. Julia Stoliarenko, and I have to say it that way, otherwise I'll butcher it. 9-5 overall. She's 3-2 in her last 5. Coming off 2 losses in a row. Alexis Davis is 2-3 in her last 5. Sorry, thought I heard the trash man outside. We had a snowstorm here in Texas, so the trash day is all messed up. Anyway, Alexis Davis, straight up veteran at this point. She has been around the block, and everybody's going to dog her for, oh, wow, you're 2-3 in her last 5. That's terrible. That's not very good. Well, she's a busy striker. She lands almost 5 significant strikes per minute. Unfortunately for her, she does get hit quite as much. She doesn't have the greatest striking differential of all time. But she does throw a nice jab, has nice combinations, and she mixes in leg kicks. And I mentioned she's 2-3 in her last 5. And if you take a look at that, and if you look at her career in general, she beats every single person outside of the top 10 and loses to people inside the top 10. And let's take a look at her last few losses. She lost to Pani Khanzat, top 10. Vivian Araujo, top 10. Jennifer Maia, top 10. Caitlin Chikagian, top 10. Every single one of them. Those are her losses. And then if you dig in a little deeper, her wins are against any other person she has ever fought that isn't in the top 10. Julia Stoliarenko, she's one of those fighters. She's got great jiu-jitsu, horrific wrestling. Her takedown accuracy is only 12%. She's 1 for 8 in her UFC career with takedown attempts. She does have a ton of submission wins. They're mostly off of her back, though, because, again, she has great jiu-jitsu, very good off her back, no jiu-jitsu on top, no takedowns, so she can't make things happen. Her striking is definitely sloppy. She is hittable. I mentioned Alexis Davis gives 1 to get 1. Well, Julia Stoliarenko gives 2 to get 3. So she has a negative striking differential. She's hit more often than she hits other people, and she is willing to brawl. She does have nice, heavy leg kicks when she uses them. My opinion, you got to go the vet here. We got to go with Alexis Davis. Yes, she's aging. She's 38. She is starting to slow down, but Julia doesn't pose any threat on her feet. She is a threat on the ground, but I see Alexis's just veteran savvy, the amount of experience she has. I do not see her getting submitted while on top. So I'm going with Alexis Davis here. That's my pick, but your pick is what matters. Let's take a look and add to our full card parlay. All right. Let's see. We have a Davis. You guys are talking about different fights. Davis in a boring decision. Completely agree. That's exactly what will happen. Another Davis. Let's see. That's an interesting statistic. Another Davis. I can't back Davis, especially at these odds. Well, we're building a full card parlay, so the individual fight odds don't matter as much. I agree if you're just doing a straight up bet on your own, sure, but we're tying 13 fights together, and the goal is to get 13 winners, regardless of what their odds are. Julia's live. I rewatched the Avila fight. She looked better, but Davis probably wins. That's a Davis. That's a Davis. I don't think so. You like the fight? First of all, end inside the distance is only plus 200. I thought the over 2.5 line was like minus 400. That's crazy. Stolia Ranko is a dog. She is tough. I'm not saying she's not tough. My only issue is I will never understand fighters that are that good at jiu-jitsu and don't figure out the wrestling. I cannot understand that. I will never understand that. It makes absolutely no sense to me. Let's see what we got. Mbaye asking Sean about the wrist injury. 7-1 Davis. Thank you so much, X Sweet Spot. That's so helpful every week. It's very hard to keep up by myself. Why does Davis have like 30% takedown defense? 34. I don't know. We can dig into the stats. Keep in mind, she's got like 20 fights in the UFC. So that's a ton of fights. And who cares? 34% takedown defense against 12% takedown accuracy. Finally, a Julia. You just missed the first couple of fights. I'll show you the parlay in a second. Davis is the pick. Angelo is the women's fight whisperer. Honestly, I will wear that badge proudly. I don't know how I continue to do it, but I mean, the women fights, I just nailed. What was that big underdog last week that I nailed? Or 2 weeks ago, the women fight. You guys have been watching for a while. I've managed professional fighters for an incredibly long time. And I did at one point, I managed Mariana Kayfetz before she retired. She was a wild prospect. She beat Randy Couture's wife. Like, she was a wild prospect. And then she took her first loss and she was like, I'm done with this sport. Because, as talented as she was, she wasn't, she had a really good job. So she didn't need to do it. She did it for fun, was dating the wrong guy and made some decisions. But anyway, I think by managing her for as many years as I did, I just was around so many female fighters and spending so much time in that world that for some reason it's easy for me to spot those mismatches. And now Alexis Davis is going to lose because I just talked about how good I am picking women's fights. We have another Davis. This is solid. Davis to win by decision. That's a solid bet. Even money. That is the most likely outcome here. I didn't grab that, but that is a very solid bet. Hate when people just go on their back and wait to catch a toe. It's brutal. It makes no sense. Hit a 9-leg NBA parlay. Congrats, Josh. That's what it was. That's what it was. Jasmine Jazavidicious. Jacob was at my house watching that too, and he was so annoyed. I'm like, dude, I literally told you what was going to happen here. I walked step by step. The hips will win this fight, and the hips won that fight. Let's see. Okay. I think Alexis Davis was the very clear pick from you guys, so let's switch over. Let's continue to build our parlay. Come on. Show me all the fights. Here we go. Alexis Davis, minus 245. Some slight movement. We're almost at plus 300. $10 gets us $29.85 on a 4-fight parlay. This will work its way up. Do not worry about it. Okay. Let's come back to the fights. Catch up someone on chat. Angela knows women's hips. Listen. I've wrestled my entire life. Hips are the only thing that matter in any of these sports. Women's or men's. Then we have Marc-Andre Barrolt fighting Chidi Kawani. Marc-Andre, 13-4 overall, 2-2-1 in his last 5. Chidi Kawani, 20-7 overall. He's 3-2. in his last 5, he's coming off a solid Contender Series win. And Marc-Andre is a pretty well-rounded guy. He's got solid kickboxing, solid takedowns. If you decide to brawl, he'll brawl. If you decide to grapple, he'll grapple. And he had a really fun fight against a Zaitar. That was an absolute brawl. His jiu-jitsu is solid. His takedowns could use some work. He's not as incompetent at takedowns as Julius Stoliarenko is, but his takedowns are not as good as you would hope they to be. Marc-Andre is typically looking to pressure you forward, wear you down on your feet, and then sneak in a takedown or two after he's beaten you up. He doesn't just immediately start diving or start trying to drag you to the ground. Chidi injured Kawani. He's a very good striker. He's got solid speed, solid power. He manages distance really well. He's not a high volume guy. And somebody came into the comment section and was like, if you don't think has got a lot of volume, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. I mean, it's legitimate. It's just straight up statistics. Watch his fight. Watch his hands. He's not a high volume guy. He just flat out isn't. But he doesn't need to be because his feet are never in the same place. He has fantastic movement. He's constantly moving. He's got really solid counter striking. And if you are able to get inside and take him down, you will have a lot of success there. So it's an interesting fight because I think Chidi is the better striker. He's definitely the more powerful striker. And his counter striking is just so good. So good. If Marc-Andre comes charging in, I could see Chidi doing slight slips and just blasting him and make something happen. Maybe even catch him, even though Marc-Andre hasn't been stopped like that in the past. I like Barrolt to win this fight. I think he has seen the same fights that we have all seen doing our research, and getting Chidi to the ground. Once you get him down, you can pretty much do what you want to do down there. It's a complete mismatch on the ground, where on their feet, I think Chidi's definitely more powerful, faster. Marc-Andre can hang. So Chidi's got the advantage on the feet, but a slight advantage. Marc-Andre's got the advantage on the ground, a massive advantage. I like Marc-Andre to win this fight. I put a money line bet on him. Let's see what your pick is so we can add one of these fighters to our full card parlay. No, I am not married to a fighter. My wife is mean, but she's not a fighter. She runs an ER, actually. Very mean, though. Very mean. Let's see what we got. Okay. Ooh, there's your stats. Here we go. 6'1" to 6'3". None of that matters. Reach doesn't matter. Anybody who just reads off reach on Tapology and then says like it's a meaningful statistic. It's only meaningful in certain fights if the fighter knows how to use it. Do you really think that this 6-inch reach advantage matters? 0%. It does not matter at all. Chidi is not even a guy that uses his reach. He uses his footwork really well. And 6-inch reach advantage is actually 3 on each side. It makes no difference. Anyway, 5.8 strikes landed per minute for Marc-Andre, 3.54 for Chidi. And then Marc-Andre has hit almost 5 times, where Chidi 1.5. No takedown statistics for Chidi, although he did defend 1. This is all from one fight, by the way. And then Marc-Andre does not have a ton of takedowns in the UFC at all. If you watch some of his previous fights, he does have them. They are there. So it's a risk. Let's see what you guys think. And that's a solid quote. Bon qui. Let's see. Okay. Marc-Andre is going to break Chidi. That's 1 for Marc-Andre. I'm assuming this is another one for Marc-Andre. Marc-Andre. I agree. This is a tough pick. The only reason I actually laid out some money on Marc-Andre is because it's just such a gap on the ground. And I have to trust that these fighters are in solid camps with solid coaches and they see the same thing. This is a 2.5 round line. And I'm not touching that. Marc-Andre isn't great at anything, but he pushes a ridiculous pace and he can grapple. Exactly correct. Let's see. Another Marc-Andre. I haven't seen a single Chidi. Here we go. Plague Runner, Chidi. No idea. Small bet on Marc-Andre. Round 3. Lungenbula. Exactly right. That's exactly right. Marc-Andre just beat Dalcha Lungenbula, who Chidi is a better striker than Dalcha, a better striker. His footwork is much better, and he doesn't rely on his power the same way that Lungenbula did. But Lungenbula also had some grappling under his belt that didn't pay off. Another Chidi. If Dalcha couldn't knock him out, then Chidi won't. Completely agree. Here's a Chidi. Dalcha and Abu hit way harder than Chidi, but Chidi is much more precise. Yeah, that's spot on as well. Abu Azaitar, that was a fight, and Marc-Andre gets hit. But yes, Chidi doesn't hit very hard, but his counter-striking is incredible. That's why if Marc-Andre comes charging forward, trying to chase something, Chidi and Kawani's counter-striking is very good. And I actually think that's probably best case for Chidi, is Mark lunging forward, and then Chidi can do those small slips and make stuff happen. But yeah, there's not a ton of power there. Thank you very much. So anybody just hopping in, Joe Todoro has put the DraftKings ownership projections on our Discord. So go to our Discord. There's a link in our description. All those numbers will be there for you. Thank you very much, Joe. It's very appreciated. Everybody else that just hopped in, we're building a full card parlay. I am taking your picks from the live chat. We're building a parlay. I'm throwing $10 at it. The last 2 weeks we've done it, it was, it got up to $1,500, $1,700 payouts. If the parlay hits, the money will go to all the members of this channel. So everybody you see in the comments with a crown is a member. They will be getting paid out. I am not keeping it. This is for you. So become a member. Click the join button under the video. It's definitely not split. Everybody is on Marc-Andre. Braden, you're on the underdog in almost every single fight, which good for you. It's not a critique. You just seem to be disagreeing with the majority. Marc-Andre, 5-6 Chidi. Oh my God, did I miss a bunch? Now we're split. We need a vote. You already voted. Okay, we're split. And then here's a Marc-Andre to break the split. We'll sit here for another second, see what you guys think. So again, my pick is Marc-Andre. Thanks, Nicholas. That's all we can ask for. My pick's Marc-Andre. So if we're split, I'll be the tiebreaker since I'm the one laying out the cash for you people. Power bar, F it. There's another vote. So Marc-Andre should be up by 2. Chidi's the favorite in your book. Well, let's see what he is on my bookie. Let's add Marc-Andre Barrolt. Dead even. Dead even. -115 to -115. Over 2.5 rounds is -200. Look at that payout. And guys, going forward, maybe we can experiment with, instead of just doing straight money lines, we can build a parlay that, okay, this fight is super close. I don't know. Let's add a goes the distance prop, right? We'll do that another week. Let's not reinvent the wheel this week. But let's go ahead. Add Marc-Andre. That gets us to +645. Our odds just doubled. Our odds just doubled. That's what happens when you start adding in legs. So $10 is getting us $64.50. This will continue to double on itself till we hit well over $1,000. There's a point where betting is all up to, yeah. I mean, that's MMA is, that's why some people, I'm curious, but how would you pay us if you won this? Just grab everyone's email. Yep. Literally anybody who's a member, same way I pay everybody now. So anybody just tuning in, I give you $50. You've heard me say it a million times, and I know it's annoying, but literally it costs us $1,000 a month to run this whole channel. So got to pay the bills with sponsors and affiliates. But I pay you guys $50 for signing up at wewantpicks.com/bets. I give you $50. It's the exact same way. People sign up. Hey, I signed up. And then I go, great. How do you want to get paid? And they give me their Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. So if this hits, obviously I'll cash out. I'll take the money. I'll reach out to all the members because I have a list of who the members are in the back end of YouTube and say, how do you guys want to get paid? And then that's it. When you say reaction video, do you mean, am I going live for the fights? The problem is it's an early fight card. I've got kids, so I will go live tonight, but I'm probably not going to be able to do the whole main card. It'll likely just be the main event or the co-main and main, something like that. Okay, back to the fights. So right now, our parlay, how many legs are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Yep, 5 in. 7 more to go. Grab a drink. Okay. Yes. Somebody take over the tally, please. And good luck to you as well. And thanks, Nick. All right. Then we have another one that people are split on. This card's pretty giant heavy favorites and then a bunch of pick'ems. We've got Hakeem Dawodu fighting Mike Trizano, battle of the heavy-handed strikers. Hakeem Dawodu is 12-2 overall, 4-1 in his last 5, coming off a decision loss to Evloev, who's an absolute killer. Mike Trizano 4-1 in his last 5 as well, 9-1 overall. And Mike Trizano's coming off the win over Ludovic Klein, where he was a massive underdog. He really made himself worth it in that fight. Hakeem Dawodu, high-level striker. He throws everything with power. He sets a pretty nice pace, especially considering how much power he has in his hands. He still manages to have excellent counter punches even while moving forward, which is nice. He'll walk forward, throwing solid leg kicks and straights, and as soon as you send something back, he slips it and then just fires away. It's really fun to watch him do that because that's not a skill that a lot of people have. A lot of people are either pressure fighters, counter strikers, and he's managed to marry 2 of them together. Hakeem Dawodu is very, very good. He's incredibly technical and he has real power. Mike Trizano is the second Ultimate Fighter winner on this card. And then we have a battle in a few fights of what should have been the Ultimate Fighter finale. Anyway, he's a fun forward pressure striker as well. He's got real power, lots of energy. I mentioned he had a 2-year layoff, came back after that layoff, fought Ludovic Klein and beat him in an incredibly close fight. It basically came down to the 3rd round, and he was able to steal that with just a late rally, some solid power. And what was crazy is Ludovic Klein was supposed to be the much better striker, and he had to resort to wrestling because he was losing some of those exchanges. And what Mike Trizano does really well is he knows when to put his foot on and off the gas. You can watch him in a fight absolutely flip a switch and turn it on, and then let off the gas, settle into a rhythm, and then turn it back on again. And if you watch that fight against Ludovic, literally in between the rounds, he sat on the stool and said, I need to pick it up. And then he picked it up, came out there and won that fight. So this should be a really fun fight. We've got 2 powerful strikers, 2 very skilled strikers. Personally, I think Hakeem Dawodu is the better, more technical striker. His ability to come forward with pressure and counter-strike at the same time is really impressive. I like Dawodu to win, but with that being said, Mike Trizano doing what he did against Ludovic Klein and being able to pull that off after 2 years. I mean, Mike Trizano's the real deal. So let's see what you guys pick because we are building a full card parlay with your picks, not mine. Let's see what we got going on here. Let's see. Trizano by split decision. Another Trizano. We next week let's mix up the parlay that I do. I'll figure it out ahead of time the best way to handle it, and then we'll do it next week. I figured money line was the easiest, but what we should do is we'll do it next week, but we will do whatever bet makes the most sense. Like if money line is obvious, we'll do money line. If it's a fight where everybody's split like we had earlier, then instead of a money line, then we'll do like over on rounds, under on rounds, something like that. Trizano. Holy crap. Damn, dude. Trizano. Dawodu. Trizano. This is nuts. 7-2 for Trizano. Thank you very much, Nick. Trizano. Jesus. Trizano. Damn. Everybody's on Trizano here. Solid underdog pick by the crew. Everybody's on Trizano. Let's take a look at the stats. I keep forgetting to put these up. So these are decent stats. So we've got, height, reach, all that nonsense. I don't care about that. Strikes landed per minute. Hakeem's got a little more volume than Trizano does. His accuracy is a little less. Striking actually is such a weird stat. Sorry, striking defense is an even dumber stat. But strikes absorbed is interesting. So there's that counter striking I talked about. Like, look at Hakeem. He's landing 4.7 and he's getting hit 2.3. That's solid compared to 3.22, which is average. 3 something is average in the UFC. And then hit 2.36 times. That's also pretty low. But it's closer to 500. And then takedown accuracy. Hakeem Dawodu has shot 0 takedowns in the UFC. He has defended a few, where Mike Trizano has gotten himself a few takedowns and defended a bunch against Ludovic Klein as well. So stat-wise, they're pretty evenly matched, with Hakeem Dawodu having slightly better statistics. And it looks like everybody does think that Mike Trizano is the upset pick. So let's go ahead. Add our boy Triz. Stupid. Add Trizano to our parlay. Mikey T. Here's an underdog. Guvans. That went from plus 6 something to plus 1688. These odds jump once we start building for real. We're up to $168, and we're more than doubling with every fight that we add at this point. So this payout's going to grow, especially if you guys keep sneaking in a couple of these small plus fighters. So again, we are building a full card parlay with your picks from the live chat. And if the parlay hits, it goes to the members of this channel. So make sure you become a member. Kendra Bullock wants her money. Thank you very much, Kendra. Thank you for becoming a member. Hopefully this pays out and I get to split the money with you and the rest of the members. I'm not keeping any of it. It's to all the members of this channel, which is funny because Jacob and I are members, so I guess technically there's a piece there. But all the members of this channel. John Doe, we have only been doing this for 2 weeks. We just started it. Jacobs just started doing it one day for fun, and I was like, that is a great idea. So we just started doing it. And honestly, if the parlay misses, that's your fault. That's not my fault. These are your picks. These are not mine. They're yours. But it's a fun thing to do. And honestly, it gives this show a lot of structure, which is worth it. So, you hit that. Glover versus Jan. I definitely hit the Glover bet. Glover's a good friend. I'm from Connecticut. He's from Connecticut. We trained together for a very, very, very long time. Long before he was in the UFC. So I was all over Glover in that fight. I like him against Jiri Prochazka too. I might be biased, but we'll see. Then we have Miles Johns versus Johns Sexy Mexi Castaneda. Miles Johns 21-1 overall. He's 4-1 in his last 5, coming off 2 knockout wins. John Sexy Mexi, I can't not say his nickname. John Sexy Mexi Castaneda's 18-5. Overall, he's 2-3 in his last 5, coming off a win over WEC veteran Eddie Wineland. Miles Johns, he's a good, strong grappler with heavy hands, explosive speed. He's a wrestler at heart, and wrestling is pretty much the core of everything he does, or it was. And all of a sudden, he started knocking people out. And these are real knockouts. These are not TKOs. He's not like taking people down. These are actual knockouts that he's been putting up. And he's coming off 2 in a row, so he's fallen in love with his hands, but he's a solid wrestler who now has found power in his hands. John Castaneda, Sexy Mexi, he's a really fun come-forward fighter. Tons of energy, never stops coming forward. I mentioned this when we did our breakdown. It's really funny to watch his tape because it's just a whole bunch of Spanish yelling and then Sexy Mexi. And it's, I don't know, I was cracking up last week breaking all that down. But he's a well-rounded guy. He sets a really good pace. He loves coming forward. He's got really fast hands, and then he shoots a bunch of takedowns. So he'll come forward, light you up, and then shoot a takedown when you're not really expecting it. He's got solid MMA jiu-jitsu, and, you know, it's not something he necessarily looks for, but when you're grappling, he's got the skills to get it done. He really just likes to set a pace, make something happen, and get something done. So John Castaneda is a dangerous guy. Miles Johns the pick. Steven Reyes, thank you for the subscription. Miles Johns is my pick, but I think this is another spot where a very busy, a very excited, a very, active underdog, Lucky Luch. I know how to say it. Everybody else will say Luck. Lucky Luch Good luck. Don't kill me. I'm rooting for you. Thank you very, very much for the membership. So John Castaneda sets a really nice pace. Miles Johns, heavy-handed wrestler. Jacob's take on this was that Miles Johns has become, he's won a few of these fights by knockout. Now he's fallen in love with his hands, and now he thinks he's this striker, and he's going to be striking with people. So we'll see what ends up happening there. So Jacob picked John Castaneda. That's his lock of the week. I like Miles Johns. Let's see who you guys like so we can go ahead and add to the parlay. That's exactly, Robot Chicken, that's exactly what I wanted Jacob to do, but he got all shy and stupid on me. Let's see. Okay, we got a Sexy Mexi, a Miles Johns, 2 Mexis, 2 Johns. Yeah, that win, I mean, Eddie Wineland's 76 years old at this point. That win is what it is. 3-0? How are you keeping track? I just saw a bunch of... can I trust your math, Nick? Can I trust your math? Johns, Castaneda, up to 3-2. Johns is my pick. He's been winning for the last 2 fights for me. So you've been riding that. Another Johns, 5-3. A Castaneda, which should be 5-4. You got to take John. That's 6-4. Let's see. Johns will gas. He might. I don't know if you can hear my daughter through the baby monitor yelling for me. Hold on. It's always something with these freaking kids. Avery, what? What do you want? So go. Jesus, I need to go to the bathroom. Never asked, but obviously when I'm live on the internet, she's going to yell through the monitor and ask to go to the bathroom. All right, I've lost track. Okay, it looks like Miles Johns is the pick. Here's the stats. See you, Nick. I get it. If anybody gets it, it's me. All right, let's look at the stats real quick. And then we got a Sexy Mexi. I think you're still behind, and it's Miles Johns. So we've got similar striking volume output. The receiving is very, very different. John Castaneda, pretty hittable guy, where Miles Johns is not. He only averages 1 takedown per 15 minutes, but go back, watch his tape. He's absolutely a wrestler and has that skill set. Takedown accuracy only 30%. That's in the UFC. Takedown defense is very, very solid. I like Miles Johns. It seems like you guys do as well. Let's go ahead and add Miles Johns to our parlay. Where are we at? Minus 185. That gets us to plus 2,654 in the odds. We're getting there. We're getting there. Oop. $10 gets us $265. We are working our way up. Anybody who's just tuning in now, we're building a full card parlay with your picks. And if it hits, all of the money, all of the winnings goes to the members of this channel. So make sure you click the join button under the video and become a member. Wood destroyed Castaneda for 3 rounds. Yeah, listen, Castaneda is tough. He's fun. He sets a nice pace. But skill for skill, Miles Johns is better. But I do agree with Jacob, where if Miles Johns just wants to make this a kickboxing match because he knocked a few people out and that's who he thinks he is now, that could absolutely go the wrong way. Then we've got Julian Nerosa fighting Steven Peterson, and Steven Peterson was the only person who missed weight yesterday. So Steven Peterson, I think he was a full 3 pounds over. Was it 3? He was a full 3 pounds over. So he missed weight. Do with that what you want if you think that's a factor or not. He looked fine. Like, he just looked like an idiot who didn't calculate his weight. He did not look like he tried so incredibly hard and was suck dry. No, he just looked like he completely miscalculated. So Julian Nerosa, Steven Peterson. Julian Nerosa is 25-9. He's 4-1 in his last 5. Coming off a come-from-behind submission win over Charles Jourdain. Steven Peterson is 19-9. 3-2 in his last 5, and he just beat the snot out of a no striking, no wrestling Chase Hooper. Julian Nerosa Really fun to watch. He's violent. He comes forward. He throws everything with intent. He is hittable. We'll see that in the stats in a second. But his chin holds up. So the fact that he's hittable, the judges might care, but he doesn't. He does have his most success when he fights at range. He uses his range well, where most people don't, but he does. But he will get sucked into a firefight. If you stand in the pocket and throw, he will stand there as well. He will not back out and then keep you. He will just stay there and start swinging. He's got solid jiu-jitsu for MMA as well, and we saw that against Charles Jourdain. He was losing that fight, and then he was able to sneak it out, get that submission, and make something happen. Steven Peterson. He's a tough guy. He likes to strike. He showcased his submission defense against Chase Hooper. And he's willing to take risks. He's got some takedowns if he needs them. And he likes an ugly fight. He wants a fight to be ugly and gritty and stuck in the pocket. And he actually, as an underdog, may be able to force Julian Nerosa into a slugfest and then come out on top just because of how tough and gritty he actually is. I think the way that you beat Steven Peterson is you have to outstrike him. I think you have to point strike him, touch and go. Julian Nerosa has the ability to be a rangy point fighter, but he gives it up to get into a bar brawl. So I think if this is a brawl, Steven Peterson wins. If Julian Nerosa can keep at the end of the punches, he can get it done. So I personally like Erosa to win, but I totally understand why so many people are on Peterson. Let's see what your pick is so we can go ahead and add to the parlay. Let's see what we got. We've got Juicy J, Julian Erosa, 2 for Erosa, 1 for Peterson, 3 for Erosa, 4 for Erosa, 4 to, what did we have? 3? Man, I'm really bad at keeping track on the fly. 4 to 1. Thank you, Plague. Thank you very much. 5 to 1. He missed weight on purpose. I guess figures Erosa will grapple. Potentially. Yeah, he looked fine. 5 to 1. I believe the way to beat Erosa is playing into his ego, and Peterson's going to do that. What does that mean? Making it a bar brawl, like I mentioned, keeping it in the pocket. Whoa. Don't know what that was about. Chase Hooper's miserable. First of all, actually, Chase Hooper's fantastic. His striking is miserable. Yeah, Erosa missed weight then as well. 6 to 1 for Erosa. Peterson, that's 6 to 3. 6 to 3, 7 to 3. We don't know how his offensive BJJ, I don't know, because all the tape I broke down, there wasn't a ton of it. But clearly his defensive BJJ is solid. I've seen that. I've seen him not only against Chase Hooper, but we've seen him defend jiu-jitsu, defend positions and submissions against other people. Peterson and Erosa. Erosa is your pick so far, guys. Let's take a look at the stats. The top box, I really don't care about that much. You guys love that crap. I don't, because look, 74 inches to 70. It's 4-inch reach advantage. He does use his range well, but we're talking 2 inches. It's 2 inches per arm. So that's not much. Significant strikes, 5.5 to 5.9. So Erosa with the negative striking differential, and same with Peterson, a negative striking differential. And Steven Peterson's interesting because I'm sure a lot of you didn't really know who he was until he fought Chase Hooper, which is totally fine. But the reality is he's got a bunch of fights in the UFC. He's been around for a while. So this is my point is these stats come from a solid body of work. It's not just from one fight. So both these guys willing to brawl it out, negative striking differential. Steven Peterson, almost 2 takedowns per fight. Julian Nerosa, about 1.5. Takedown accuracy, not great on either side. The defense is much better for Steven Peterson, and that's because he brawls it out and people like to shoot takedowns. Jesse J, thank you very much. Sorry, Jesse J. I was thinking Juicy J. Jesse Kahea, thank you very much. Very, very appreciated. Thank you, Jesse. And I hope this parlay hits so that I can finally give back to you. 9 to 4 for Julian Erosa. 9 to 5. Let's go ahead. Let's add. I trust Peterson's chin as well. I actually think if there's a stoppage here, it's Peterson gets the stoppage. So I think Julian, yes, his cardio is good. I think Julian Nerosa is the better, more technical fighter that wins a decision. I think Steven Peterson could actually win inside the distance. Yes, reach is wingspan. So yeah, you're right. It could be chest. It's not necessarily arms. But that's why my point is it's 74 inches. The easiest way to do is you add 2. If you have a 4-inch reach advantage, it's 2 to each side. So literally that could change just with how turned your hips are. If you've got a square stance, doesn't matter. You turn a little more, all of a sudden. So 4-inch reach advantage, I know people love to harp on that. I don't think it matters. AJ, welcome, my dude. How are you?
What's up, brother? It's good to be here, man. Apologize for not getting to the first fight on the main card, but I'm glad I made it for this one, the Trayshawn Gore-Bryan battle fight.
Yeah, no problem. And thanks for showing up. Anybody who's watching, so AJ DeVito runs MMA Experts. He does awesome breakdowns. You guys are always coming to me saying, oh, why don't you do Bellator? Why don't you do PFL? Well, AJ does every fight that ever happens on any network ever. So if I'm not doing it, go watch him break those down.
Thank you, man. It's great to be here, man. It's great to meet you officially for the first time. I was listening to the show a bit. I was setting up my live stream I have to do for the full card. I like what you're doing, man. You're doing great stuff, and I'm glad to be a part of it here with you, man. It's an honor.
Yeah, thank you very much for hopping on. So what we're doing for you and anybody else that's just popping in is we're building a full card parlay. I'm giving my thoughts, but I'm using the live chat's pick to build the parlay. They just picked Julian Nerosa. So let's go ahead and add Julian, and then we'll break down this fight. So Julian Nerosa brings the parlay to plus 35.43. So $10 is going to get us. No, that's $100. That's not happening. 350. And if the parlay pays out, then I give the money to the members of this channel. So let's go ahead and break down the next fight. You want to do it? You want me to go first?
You can start it off, man. Your channel, of course. I have to give you respect, my brother.
So we've got Bryan Battle versus Tracy Gore. This is what should have been the Ultimate Fighter finale. Tracy Gore earned his way to the finale, got hurt, and that's where Gilbert Urbina stepped up on short notice. And Bryan Battle was losing that fight, was able to sneak out a submission. I felt like he was losing the striking and the grappling, was still able to pull it off. So Bryan Battle, 6-1 overall, 5-0 in his last 5, coming off of that win. Tracy Gore, only 3 fights as a professional. You could bump that up to 5 if you want to include the Ultimate Fighter House. And it's an interesting matchup because Bryan Battle is a tough guy. He's a solid striker. He's got okay volume. He did show us in his last fight that he is always live and he's never going to quit on himself. Tracy Gore, he's a heavy-handed come-forward wrestler. And what I like about him is he'll throw 3-4 strikes, immediately go to the legs, work against the cage. If he doesn't get it, he'll back up. He'll try again. And if he gets the takedowns, he'll be busy on top. And if he doesn't, the judges will love all that control time against the cage. So my pick is Tracy Gore, but the dude has 3 professional fights. So, yeah, I don't know how much stock you can put in that. What do you think?
Yeah, man. I feel like he has all the makings of a potential prospect to watch. We haven't seen it at the highest level yet. I mean, obviously, the tough fights, he looked really good against Urbina. When he fought Ryder Newman, controlled him. I mean, Ryder's a wrestler and he didn't shoot for takedowns in that fight. So that is what it is. Bryan Battle, I use this pun, but it's battle tested, bro. He's taken damage. He's come back from it. But I haven't seen him in there with the guy with that explosive power like Gore. I like the kickboxing. It's like my concern really is going to come out to when we get into if we get into the later stages and Battle takes the best shots Gore throws, does Gore lose confidence? And now Battle's pressing and he keeps coming after him. He keeps hunting him down. He's trying to put him against the cage. I'm still on the Trayshawn side there with you. I'm going Trayshawn. I think he might even get a TKO. He definitely has some serious power. And even though Battle has a good chin, guys that hit with the pop that he has can do serious damage and put anyone down. I'm going to go Trayshawn, but I wouldn't be shocked if Bryan Battle edges this one out. He's defending that Ultimate Fighter crown here. To me, this is the Ultimate Fighter defense, man. If you're fighting a guy from your season, originally was supposed to be on the show, this is for the true strap here. So I'm going to go Trayshawn, I guess, and new Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, I completely agree. And what's funny is, I mean, if Tracy Gore wins, then what? I mean, Bryan Battle's got to feel like kind of a bum because technically he's the Ultimate Fighter, but, you know.
You lost to this guy who
lost to the person he was supposed to fight. The other interesting thing too is, so you win the Ultimate Fighter, you get it's a standard contract. Whoever the winner is gets that exact contract. Honestly, the best thing that could have ever happened to Tracy and Gore is not fighting for that contract.
Yeah,
because it's a prison sentence. That's a long.
Isn't it? It's the 100,000. They sell it.
It's 100,000 over 8 fights.
That's literally the craziest thing I've ever heard. I believe that if you're getting the 100K, let's just pay guys 100,000 for winning the show. You know, fighter pay is a whole different type of debate. That you do management. I know you see that stuff all the time, man. So that's a whole nother discussion that we could go too crazy with, man. And we don't want to go that deep here.
And it includes just the last piece there. The 100,000 includes the win bonus. It's not 100,000 no matter what.
Damn.
That includes the win bonuses. So yeah, it's like American Idol, right? That was always the rub in the past. You win American Idol and then you're a prisoner to that contract. So let's see what the live stream says. We've got a battle. We've got a what's up, AJ? We've got 2 Gores. A battle. I'm gonna stop pinning it because it's covering your face. We've got another battle. We've got battle. Everybody's on battle, it seems. OKK likes your hat way more than Jacob's hat, who normally does these with me. It looks like battle. I did not replace Jacob. I asked AJ to hop on because I like his insight from his videos. Jacob has not been replaced. It looks like the live chat is going Brian Battle. So they're siding with the underdog. And then Savage said Battle's going to get smashed. Man, guys, give me 2 or 3 more votes because this is so razor thin. I did not replace Jacob. Everybody thinks I replaced Jacob. Maybe I should
friend
make
of the show, guys. Just a friend of the show.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it'd be good for Jacob to think he's that easily replaceable. All right. Gore is the majority officially, says Bonquiqui. So let's go ahead. We'll add Gore to the parlay. See what this does. Jacob's gone. You people are like freaking out over Jacob. All right. Let's see. Gore is everybody's pick. That takes us to plus 6,145, which gets us to $614 payout. And we still have some fights to go. Anybody just tuning in, we are breaking down the entire card before the fights. We're building a full card parlay, and I am joined by AJ DeVito from MMA Expert. So subscribe to his channel as well because he does way more breakdowns than I do. So there's a lot more content over there. Then we have late replacement Brendan Allen taking on Smiling Sam Alvey. And Sam Alvey, I've never had any interaction with the guy ever, but we posted all of our graphics to Instagram and he started commenting on all of them, started commenting on our tweets, interacting with you guys. A few of you were commenting on the picture saying Brendan Allen dominates and Sam Alvey's just like, I hope not. So really cool guy, which honestly sways my pick a little bit. But Brendan Allen taking it on short notice after Phil Hawes, who took it on short notice, had to drop out. Brendan Allen and Phil Hawes trained together, so I have to assume that Brendan Allen was training for this fight with Phil Hawes, not necessarily a full camp, but in the mix. He was every bit of 205 pounds, and that's why this is at light heavy, which is very interesting because yes, it was only 5 days notice, but yeah, he didn't even, it was light heavy or I'm not taking it. And he looked like a light heavyweight in the scale. Brendan Allen is a grappler. He's got solid takedowns, very good sneaky jiu-jitsu on the ground. His issue is he doesn't always use it. He's a decent technical striker who seems to have fallen in love with his striking, and that caught up to him in his last fight against Chris Curtis when he was absolutely blitzed. Sam Alvey, 33-16. The number one thing that everybody talks about is this poor guy hasn't won a fight since 2018. He has 6 in a row without a win. But the reality is, if you dig into those a little deeper and you watch them, he's got some split decisions in there. They're all competitive. The dude is much, much better than his record. And he's really fun to watch, which is why the UFC has given him as much leash as they have. So Sam Alvey's got some sneaky power. He's decent everywhere. He's not amazing anywhere, but he's decent everywhere. He's got sneaky power. He's very unorthodox. Brendan Allen, grappler who likes to strike, that can get himself into some trouble. Brendan Allen's the pick, but honestly, these odds are absurd, at least in my opinion. And this is a razor thin pick for me. What do you think?
Yeah, man. I think the odds are totally disrespectful towards a full camp. And honestly, Allen was just knocked out 8 weeks ago. I've never
Too
been a
soon.
fan of fighter turnarounds like that. I feel like, especially now, short notice, if it was 3 months out, let's say he gave it 4 more weeks, he has at least a 6-week full camp coming back. He's obviously, mentally feeling fit, ready to rock. I don't know. People have always questioned Brendan Allen's fight IQ. And I guess this move here, to jump in and fight Sam Alvey, I kind of view it as a disrespect towards Sam. Like, oh, this guy's an old man. I'm going to beat him up. I don't think that's the case here. I think Sam Alvey has a legit chance to knock out Brendan Allen at plus money, like at 300 or more. Give me Sam Alvey. Give me the KO prop too, man. I think the sneaky power is real. He's awkward as hell, and he's resilient, especially up a weight class. At 185, full camp, it's Brendan Allen all day. 205, short notice, Brendan Allen with a little dad bod coming in. He's got no abs visible for this fight. I'm going Alvey by knockout.
Yeah, well, so you're like drawing a line. You really made the pick. Yeah, so I agree for the most part. I'm not going as far as like it's definitely going to happen, but nothing would surprise if Sam Alvey just absolutely took Brendan Allen's head off. It would not surprise me. The guy gets no respect because people just see the record and move on. But the reality is he does have that power. It's sneaky, and I could not agree with you more. 8 weeks, he was knocked. I mean, he wasn't cold, but he was out.
Yeah.
8 weeks is not enough time. I've been around this a very long time. Some of my fighters have been on the wrong side of that. They are not right within 8 weeks. They're just not.
No. Yeah, I think that it's irresponsible, in my opinion, to take the fight. I mean, God bless if Brendan Allen goes out and wins, good win to have in the hat. Hey, I beat Sam Alvey, but
Yeah.
I think Alvey's going to surprise him. Southpaw too, Sam Alvey, man, he's awkward. And I feel like an awkward striker with a bit of size. I think he'll be able to, muscle for muscle, be there with Allen in clinch positions. And it's not like Brendan Allen's good grappling, but I don't think of him as, this high level. He's not a high level wrestler. He's not a freestyle guy. He's picking you up, putting you head. He's not doing a Daniel Cormier, Josh Barnett flip type throws to anybody like that. I think Alvey could surprise him here, man.
No, I completely agree. The one thing I will say, so Brendan Allen's my pick, and honestly, the knockout is part of the reason, because maybe he was humbled, maybe he's worried his chin isn't ready, and he will just be diving for legs. But Sam Alvey has got something like 20 fights in the UFC and 81% takedown defense. That dude has defended a ton of takedowns. And he commented on the Instagram picture saying 16% takedown accuracy is wrong. I shot one takedown and I got it. So he disagrees with that stat, but that comes right from the UFC. Let's see what we've got going here. We've got an Alvey pick, Allen. Hopefully you guys are keeping track for me because this is hard to do on the fly. Allen, a draw, which I cannot do. Allen. Okay. A lot of Allens. We got a couple Alvey upsets. Funk Masters Flay saying, I see why Allen's a favorite. I honestly have no clue why, but I'm leaning towards Alvey. We've got Allen, another Alvey. Strickland said he spars with Sam Alvey. I didn't know that. Did you know that?
I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure they also, him, Chris Curtis, and Strickland all train together, at least at some points.
I didn't realize that. Chris Curtis, another guy who commented. So last time Brendan Allen fought, when he fought Chris Curtis, I was live betting. And, that first round, Brendan Allen caught a kick, picked up Chris Curtis. And I was like, oh, done. So I just immediately threw a shitload of money on him because I'm like, yes. And I was trying to make up for a bet I lost earlier tonight. And then Chris Curtis blitzed him and then came back and commented on the video and was like, that was hard.
He commented on my video too, man. That's funny. He said he laughed because I picked I think it was Phil Hawes, Chris Curtis, or no, it was Brendan Allen. I said, oh, that one was a fluke. And then he commented, he's like, yeah, is it a fluke now? Then I felt bad. I'm like, oh shit. And I was like, yeah, it is what it is, bro.
Yeah, people forget that they're actual people.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see what we got going on. Bay, remember what Angela said when Calvillo fought Lee? I don't remember what I said, so remind me. It looks like Allen's the pick here, but there are some Alvey supporters.
Some tinfoil hatters out there?
Yeah, there are. All right, let's go ahead and add Brendan Allen to the parlay. This isn't going to help the payout, guys. Tremendous favorite. Let's see what we got. Brendan Allen minus 440. That still takes us to plus 75.64. We're flirting with $800 payout. It's not terrible. If
Still
Sam
pretty
Alvey
high.
wins and that's the only one that loses in this parlay, that's gonna be a hard pill to swallow, guys. All right, then we've got the featured fight. This is another one where you guys are super split in the comments section. We've got Shavkat Rock. I cannot get rid of my Northeast accent when I pronounce these names. Shavkat Rakmanov versus Carlston Harris. And Shavkat Rakmanov, 14-0 with 14 stoppages. The dude's a beast. He's very good everywhere. A lot of you guys in the comment section are saying he's overrated. He gasses out. He's first round or bust. I don't see any of that, so I don't know where that's coming from, but that's how a lot of you have felt, or at least the vocal ones. Carlson Harris is 17-4. He's 5-0 in his last 5, riding himself a nice little 5-fight win streak. And Shavkat's special, man. He's one of those guys, you watch him fight, you're like, holy shit, he's going to be something. He's got 100% finish rate, and he's finishing people on his feet. He's finishing people on the ground, and he's literally jumping to guillotine and finishing there as well. Carlson Harris, pretty well-rounded guy. He's got wild striking, but there is some power in there. He's a slick, opportunistic grappler, meaning if it's there, he will snatch it up. We've seen him hold people against the cage, work in head and arms while standing, and then bring those to the ground from there. He's got nice body locks and trips, and as soon as you hit the mat, he does start working something. I am all over Shavkat. I do not think it's fake. I don't think it's hype. I think he's very real. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, man. I think a lot of people are looking at Carlson Harris, especially that win over Impa Kasanganai, the way he just, ran right through him. He bullied him. Shavkat Rakmanov is extremely technical. He's going to have his hands up. He's going to have the guard properly set. He's going to be working a jab. He's going to follow it with the cross. Carlston Harris, man, he gets a little wild. He has a little bit, I call it too much fat on the punches. He comes with a little bit of wide shots. And of course, if he wings a shot at you and he hits you, you're going to feel it. But Shavkat Rakmanov is going to see those haymakers. I'll be honest, I don't see Carlston Harris with too much of a chance here. I know a lot of people seem to like these lines are absolutely crazy. Harris is in the fight. What is he going to do? He's going to have to out-wrestle and control Shavkat from top position. At least nothing that we've seen yet is telling me that Shavkat Rakmanov is going to be beat up on the floor and not threatened from the bottom. I mean, I feel like even if Carlston Harris were to get the fight to the mat, I don't really see a threat from the top position of ground and pound. I don't see a submission threat. I think Shavkat would comfortably get back up to his feet, but I don't even believe it's going to get there. I think that it's going to be Shavkat outstriking Carlston. I'm kind of thinking like a club and sub situation where Shavkat hurts Carlston, puts him down, and then chokes him out. I like Shavkat choking out 2 Brazilians back-to-back. Prazeres had never been submitted as a professional. Of course, serious size difference there, 5'6" to 6'1", but still an impressive feat. When he fought Alex Oliveira, bro, I was pissed because I saw the line at even money, and I, just played a little something on it. I should have hammered the shit out of it because he ran right through him. Yeah, I like Shavkat, and I like him dominating this fight here. I'm going stoppage, leaning towards second, and I think betting side is probably inside distance rather than knockout or sub, just because he does have the potential to sleep Carlston, but the club and sub situation I think definitely comes to my mind.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I was surprised. I thought this was like, when I was breaking this stuff down, I was like, this is an easy one. Nobody's in. And then people started arguing in the comments, and I was shocked. What is there to argue about? And even right now, there's a bunch of people on Carlson Harris. So let's see what we got going on. We're building a full card parlay with the picks from the live chat. So if this misses, guys, that's on you. That's not on me. All right, we've got the chat's moving way too fast for me to keep up. We've got Mbe with Harris, Robot Chicken Shavkat, another Harris, 3-1. A Rakmanov, we got 2-3. Harris is live. That's not a pick. Shavkat all tied up. Shivy Shav gets the stoppage. So 4-3. Shavkat 5-3. 6-3. All right, now it's starting to catch up. 7, 8, 9. Okay. It caught up. Everybody's on Shavkat now. Yeah. It caught up. The early voters were Harris people.
The Harris believers, man. You of course you're gonna have some. And I think he's good, man. I'm kind of like, damn, doesn't it suck to see one of these guys catch an L here, but I do believe it's Harris. He's still a good prospect, though. I mean, he is 34, so it's like now or never type situation for him, but like I still feel like he's a pretty solid fighter. I don't think he's getting cut from the UFC anytime soon.
Yeah, and he's a oh man, it's gonna screw up the come on. All right, I'm gonna have to build the parlay somewhere else because this isn't taking it, but we'll still manage the odds here. This takes it to 10,693, which means we are over $1,000 for the parlay. I'm gonna have to build it in BetUS because my bookie does not like that we are at 11 fights already.
Yeah,
BetUS
they don't
will
allow
let me
that.
parlay anything.
They
Bunch
say,
of
no,
weeds.
they don't want to risk it, man. In case
They
you
don't
got
wanna
the-
pay
the
it out.
crystal ball. They're like, we ain't paying you that, my friend.
They don't want that to pay out. So I will move the full card parlay to BetUS, but we'll stick with this because these odds will still update as we go. So we only have 2 left. We've got Punahil Soriano versus Nick Maximov. This is a weird one, and I actually am having a hard time put a stake in the ground here. So what was that?
Said it's tough. Yeah, a lot of people just like immediately, some people, especially, you know, people that aren't looking deep into the film, so are like, oh, Soriano's going to knock him out. It's easy. This is a fight. This is a fight.
100%. And especially, we just watched Soriano struggle with Brendan Allen. The first round, he looked great, completely gassed. And Brendan Allen, who's not a very good striker, took over the striking and won a kickboxing match against Punahil, who at that time was supposed to be like the next thing as far as striking was concerned. So not a great look in his last fights. We got Punahil Soriano fighting Nick Maximov. Punahil 8-1 overall, 4-1 in his last 5, coming off that loss to Brendan Allen, where again he gassed and was outstruck. Nick Maximov 7-0. The first 6 fights of his career, 5 fights of his career were against guys with losing record. Then he got a fight on Dana White Contender Series at heavyweight. Now he's worked his way down to middleweight. And Jacob, when we broke this down, pointed out that this is not what Nick looks like anymore. He's Jack now. And if you go to his Instagram, he is Jack now. He definitely has been putting in
front
work.
double. He was looking pretty swole.
Yeah. He's put in some work. So Punahil Soriano is a nasty striker. He's got a ton of power, and he can knock out a lot of people. He can wrestle. He's got 4 takedowns in the UFC. That was 3 of them against Jamie Pickett, who's actually good size and has decent takedown defense. And he has his own solid takedown defense, but it's a little skewed because he's only defended 1 single takedown in the UFC, and that was against Brendan Allen. Nick Maximov is a BJJ guy. His striking is mediocre. He's a solid BJJ guy coming out of that Diaz camp. And he's interesting, like I said, because his fight in Contender Series was heavyweight. He's worked his way down the middleweight. And if you check out his Instagram, you check out his training footage, he is putting in a ton of boxing work, nonstop for the last few months. I also feel like I'm going to go Punahil here because the reality is Nick has to get it to the ground to make something happen. If they just hang out on their feet, he's not going to win. So I think I trust Punahil to not blow his load in the first round, to sort of take his time, work his striking, make something happen. But if Nick Maximov gets a takedown and smokes Punahil, I wouldn't be shocked, especially if it's in the second or third round, because we haven't really seen Punahil deal with any serious grappling.
Yeah, absolutely. Something to note, I mean, I was digging into the wrestling backgrounds of both guys. I wanted to see, you know, Soriano, I believe Division 3 level, so that's still pretty damn good.
Yep.
Maximov, the NAIA level, which still good. That's a good level of wrestling. Both guys have it. Big difference maker is the pure jiu-jitsu. Maximov competing in submission underground, training with the Nick Diaz Army guy. He's definitely putting a lot of work in for his technical skill set. I know the Cody Brundridge fight isn't like the best example to compare this matchup because Brundridge doesn't have much stand-up. He's mediocre at best. Soriano levels above. But Division 2 wrestler Brundridge, known for beating guys up, was controlling William Knight up until a mistake happened. Maximov out-wrestled him. Maximov put him against the cage and beat him up. I'll be honest, small cage is a factor. Also, somebody just put that in the comments. Like, that's real here. And Soriano is going to be forced to defend takedowns against a guy who's a legit grappling threat. I believe the striking will be stifled, at least to an extent, with Soriano, because now he's more worried. Oh, damn, this guy's going to be shooting a lot. He doesn't want to strike with me. He's not going to be able to go as crazy. I think there's a chance Maximov surprises him here. Obviously doesn't have like the absolute best takedowns where he's just taking guys down every time, but he's going to keep shooting. And you know what? We're going to find out about Soriano's gas tank when he gets into wrestling scrambles and things like that. I really feel like Maximov finds a way. I'm leaning towards submission, especially the prop side, to like get yourself some nice plus money. I'm going to pick Maximov here. I'm going to go with the dog. I'm a big Nick Diaz Army guy. We need a soldier, man. We need a soldier. And I think Maximov is our prospect right now. Somebody to wear that Nick Diaz Army flag high, man, and represent.
He's definitely this is. I think whoever wins this fight is going to look like a minus 600 favorite. Like, I don't think there's an in between. I don't think it's a close fight. I think Punahil either absolutely murders Nick Maximov on his feet, defends a couple takedowns, and just blasts him, or Nick Maximov lands a couple solid jabs, takes him down, and just absolutely. I don't think it's a close fight. I do think, like, and I have to pick a side. I'm going to pick Punahil literally just because I think there's the gap on the ground is huge. The gap on the feet is huge, but I'm 100% positive they're going to start on their feet. Yeah. I'm not positive they'll see the ground, but I'm with you. I mean,
yeah, the wrestling's going to determine all here. And like, it's, you know what the truth is, we can look at film of both guys. Oh, yeah. This is one of those matchups where they don't have enough fights to find out how they fare against fighters like one another. Exactly. So it's going to be special to watch, man. I'm looking forward to it. I have to go the Maximov side. I totally understand the Soriano side. Either way, great co-main event.
Yeah, it is solid. It's a perfect fight night co-main event. And I think it's a good spot for both these guys. So the UFC is going to find out, is Punahil, did we waste all this money? Is he not that good after Brendan Allen? Yeah. And then Nick Maximov, all right, let's build up this whole Diaz Army thing, and maybe he'll grab some attitude and get some fans. So
yeah, I would like to see another Diaz out there.
I know. And I hope that Nick Diaz, Dustin Poirier fight gets booked. Who the hell knows with the Diaz brothers, though?
We'll see with the UFC, man. We'll see.
All right, let's tally up these votes. We have a Maximov, a Puna. That's 1-2. Maximov 1-3, 1-4, 2-4. I usually have somebody in live chat keeping track for me, but Maximov is a Diaz product. Yes. People are on the Maximov side so far. Holy crap. Soriano 3-4. 4-4 Soriano, another Soriano. We're at 5-4. Maximov 5-5. Guys, are we gonna be split on this one? Maximov. All right, Maximov with the late rally here. It's like 8-5. Guys, this is definite. And there's a Soriano, but that doesn't do it. This is gonna help the parlay. So my bookie doesn't want to take this parlay, but I promise you I will get it in with BetUS. The only reason, if I'm being transparent, I don't do the BetUS in the live stream is because you have to be logged in, and I don't need people seeing my money situation. So I build it on my bookie where you don't have to be logged in, and then I'll move it over to BetUS. So Nick Maximov brings the odds to 27,422, which means a $10 bet is a $2,700 payout. Don't let me down, live chat. Don't let me down. So anybody tuning in, I'm building with AJ here. We're building a full card parlay. I'm laying out the $10. If it hits, all the members of this channel will get paid. So anybody in the comments with a crown that click the join button under the video will get paid. I will split it amongst all of you evenly. And we're at $2,700 with the main event to go. That's quick because the first 5 fights, it's like, oh, cool, $80. And then all of a sudden, it takes a turn when you add a few underdogs. Main event of the evening, we've got striker versus grappler. We've got Jack Hermansson fighting Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland, 24-3 overall, 5-0 in his last 5. He is coming off a grappling loss in December, though. Not a fight, straight up grappling match. And that did not go well for him. So, I don't know, maybe it matters, maybe it doesn't. But he is fighting Jack Hermansson, who's a nasty grappler, 22-6 overall. 3-2 in his last 5, alternating wins and losses. And Jack Hermansson's a great grappler. If he takes you down, he's pretty dominant from there. His striking technically is solid, but I don't see him knocking anybody out anytime soon. What I like about Jack is he knows what he is. He knows he's a grappler. He sticks to it. He's not a Brendan Allen. He's not going to try to showcase how good he's just going to start diving at those legs and try to make something happen. And if we look at his last few fights, he took down Shabazian 3 times in a win. He took down Marvin Vettori twice in a loss. He took down Jacare Souza 3 times in a win. He's not afraid to put himself in harm's way to get those takedowns. So I see him taking whatever Sean Strickland throws, and he's still just going to be taking those shots and looking for those legs. Sean Strickland, listen, I'm not a big fan. I used to love him online because he's just so funny and ridiculous. I think now he's just starting to lean into it and try to be as ridiculous as possible on purpose. His striking style is crazy. There is 0 hip rotation whatsoever. He's just here and throwing punches from his chest. Some of them do seem to have power on them. He's dropped some people with what look like pretty insignificant strikes, but he's got incredible volume. He's got really good takedown defense, and he surprised everybody in his last fight against Uriah Hall, where he got 4 takedowns of his own and sort of flipped the how to win script on everybody. So this is a tough fight to pick, but I think this is another one. I think we either see Jack Hermansson get a takedown and dominate, or Jack Hermansson's going to get stuffed and look a little sloppy and outclassed shooting takedowns from far away. So I got to lean Sean Strickland here just because he has been so effective with the striking and he does have solid takedown defense. But early on in the career, you take down Sean Strickland and that's how you win. But it's been a much harder thing to do lately. What do you think?
Yeah, man, I'm on the Strickland side. I personally like the stand-up style because it's so unique, right? It's like a modified Philly shell type of thing. But yeah, I'll agree. Strickland, for as many shots as he lands, as much as he wants the knockout, isn't really a heavy hitter. He's a high-volume guy. Seems to be in fantastic shape. I think statistically, he's got like an 80% takedown defense rate, which I've always found pretty impressive. Not a guy that I'm superly like concerned about. You know what like intrigues me with Sean Strickland is that he can strike, but because he doesn't rely on power, it's almost like more advantageous, as opposite like a Paulo Costa, whereas he needs a knockout, right? You go out there and you see him go distance. Of course, the Yoel Romero fight tends to get tired, tends to fade. I mean, the Vettori fight, I was low-key kind of impressed by Costa surviving, but whatever, that matchup doesn't matter. Sean Strickland, I think he can be patient throughout the 5 rounds. I think the volume will definitely be high, and he'll go for the kill. Hermansson, hell of a grappler on the floor. This guy is dangerous. He out-grappled Jacare Souza. I mean, obviously, Jacare fell off hard after that fight, but before then, that was a huge win.
Yeah.
At the time, like, I remember I was shocked. I was like, did Jack Hermansson just out-grapple Jacare Souza? It shows the tools that he has on the ground. It's high level. Strickland's a hard guy to beat. Good athlete, good footwork, stamina, slick boxing style, unique flair. Mental game definitely seems strong as well. Of course, the mental side isn't the main thing, but here it's a factor. I think that Sean Strickland isn't going to need the knockout, so he's going to keep pressing. He knows Jack Hermansson takes a beating. I mean, Hermansson's been knocked out a couple times. You look at the Cannonier fight, you look at the Thiago Santos fight, but what both those guys have that Strickland doesn't is just that explosive, real knockout power. I expect volume work. If Strickland's to get a stoppage, I see it around 3, 4, or 5, and it's more of like a volume TKO, and he lands something that stuns, Jack Hermansson, potentially puts him down against the cage and then gets him done. But more so, decision is a viable option. Personally, I like just money line bet Sean Strickland. The props in this one, I would go more towards the over-unders. I like over 2.5 is actually pretty good money because I don't see this fight ending in the second or third
I don't either.
round.
What's the
Very
line on
likely.
over 2.5?
I believe it's minus 160. I don't know. That was yesterday.
I mean, that's not bad
now.
because that's probably, that's a pretty solid out. Like, it's going to end up over 2.5 rounds, I'm sure. Because I don't think Jack Hermansson's going to take him down, submit him in the first, and Sean Strickland's not exactly taking people's heads off.
Right. And the only way I think, imagine Hermansson, though, we say this and then leg lock, 30 seconds in, like the Kelvin Gastelum fight. I expect Strickland to work his game. I think he'll look pretty good out there, win a hard-fought fight, potential late stoppage, potential decision. Regardless of how it's done, I think Strickland's hand will be raised.
Well, and you're onto something. You have a good point there with the whole, since there's no power, the volume is solid, and he doesn't have to commit to anything. There's no big shot where he overextends, turns his hips, he's missed.
Yeah.
And then now Jack Hermansson's lower my level, bang, there's a shot. There is no overextension. There is no miss. And if there is a miss, he's right here. I missed. I'm right here. I'm square. I'm right in front of you. And my legs, my hips are straight down to defend a takedown. So, Sean Strickland, as annoying as he can be and as weird as his striking is, he's been able to really find a niche for himself and get it done. So
he takes a good shot too. I mean, obviously, knockout power is not something Jack Hermansson really known for. I really will say the thing that has, I don't want to say disappointed me about Jack Hermansson, but it has, because I've always been, a guy that liked Jack. His boxing, man, it's just subpar. It's just, he puts the high guard up, Thai-esque, but the punches are still getting through. A lot of guys, they spar with the MMA gloves. It's a whole different game. But when you put the boxing gloves on, I mean, I got them back there. I know from the boxing years, you can use the pillows and block shots. Hermansson kind of rocks with that style, doesn't really have a ton of head movement. I don't know. I like Jack a lot, man, and I think he's got a high-level grappling game. I just think for whatever reason, some guys just can't get the striking down to that next level. And I think that's just his overall biggest weakness here. Strickland, I think takedown defense is on his side. Grappling, if they got into a grappling match, Jack Hermansson submitting him. Like if it's pure grappling. With strikes involved, though, MMA, a little bit of sweat, it's a different game. I like Sean Strickland. We'll go for him here, man.
Yeah, I'm with you here. Let's see what the live chat says. It is getting harder and harder to keep up with this. We've got Strickland. So 0-2. Hermansson won't get KO'd here. Can't wait to see Strickland tested 5 rounds. Not putting him this parlay, but money on Hermansson. So Mike Hildebrand and Hermansson 1-2. Deadly loves the collab. Thanks, Deadly. We've got Mr. Savage, Plague, also Strickland. So 1-4. Joshua Strickland 1-4. Mbaye, that's not a vote. Should be even. Another Strickland. Shout out for you. We've got a Hermansson, another Hermansson, Strickland. Okay, Strickland is it. This would be our final parlay. Let's see what we get. And again, I have to move this over to BetUS. BetUS will literally let you parlay anything as big as you want it to go, where my bookie stops at 10. So Sean Strickland brings this parlay. Come on, update the odds here. Oh, you sons of 39. So we're at $10 is going to pay out if this hits. And obviously these odds are what they are, because the odds of this hitting are 39,000. So $10 is going to pay out $4,000. I'll post what the final payout is once I actually move this to BetUS, but I don't need people all up in my what's my balance on BetUS business. So we're going to do it on my bookie. And then I'll move it over. Any parting words you have?
Man, I'm glad to be here, man. I'm glad.
Well, I appreciate you hopping on for sure.
Yeah.
Any fights that you didn't break down that you feel pretty strongly about earlier on in the card?
Let me think through. I like Bonnar early. I really like him over Malcolm. I feel like let me quickly pull up Tapology just so I have my list here. I was going off the dome here right now, but I have it right here. Let's see. I think Trezano's a live underdog that might have some decent value if you're looking to play him. Jason Witt, Phil Rowe. That's an interesting fight, man. I'm on the Witt side, but I definitely understand the argument towards Rowe. And I noticed that Witt didn't look in as good of shape as normal. He didn't look great. he looked a little soft, bro. So that definitely got me a little nervous. He didn't look like the Jason Witt, the hulking Witt. Chidi and Kawani fight, super close on that one for me personally. I saw that. I was listening to you. I saw that you had picked Barrolt. I'm on the Kawani side, man. I think he can find a way, but I actually have loved the improvement of Marc-Andre Barrolt, and he's doing well. The Lambagula fight, where that was a good performance. That's a hell of a fight. It's a difficult match.
And that's why I went, that is why I went the Barrolt side, because he just fought Dalcha. And Dalcha and Chidi are different fighters, but they're both heavy-handed. And I mean, if you watch Chidi's fights in Bellator, like taken down, controlled from there. So not that Marc-Andre is the greatest wrestler. I was just like, there's a path. Like, here's your path. I just have to trust you to take it. But
Yeah,
if he doesn't,
that's the best way to say it, man. I believe it's definitely possible. I want to finish off final like parting words too. I want to add, we'll be going live on my channel for anybody that doesn't know me. I got MMA experts. I do a lot of breakdowns throughout the week. UFC, Bellator, PFL when they come back. Also doing Eagle FC now. We do full card breakdowns. I got the Moneyline podcast with my good friend Mike Finch. This week's best MMA bets, late night lives every Tuesday. And then the fight companions, of course, man. Definitely want to be back here, man. And hopefully one day I'll get you on. We'll make a little stuff happen, man. I got to set my schedule right, but I really am glad to be here, man. It was good to chat these fights up with you.
no, I appreciate you hopping on. And yeah, everybody check him out, subscribe. Everybody's always like, do Bellator. I just can't. And you do all of it. So
yeah.
You guys need that fix. Go check him out.
Bellator, man, definitely. I built my channel off Bellator originally, man. Then I jumped to the UFC train. So yeah, definitely check me out for Bellator.
Awesome. Well, thanks for hopping on. Thank you, everybody else. And let's hope this parlay hits out. And good luck to everybody.
Yeah, good luck, guys. Smash the like button for my man Angelo here. Make sure to subscribe if you guys are new too. Much love.
Thanks, man.